This ice cream brand makes more than 4 crores each month and has become India's fastest growing ice cream brand on quick commerce in just 2 freaking years. GoZero is about to disrupt India's 20,000 crore ice cream market by going the zero sugar path. A startup that is here to give giants like Mother Dairy, Kwallity Walls and Vadilal a run for their money. In this video, we'll dive into the core insights this ice cream startup has cracked and also understand what makes this ice cream industry super hot right now.
Hotter summer will be heating up sales for the ice cream industry.
As ice cream makers race up with new launches to grow volume.
And there are a whole host of new age brands that are catering to the healthy variants of ice creams.
But if you're new to the channel, you've landed at GrowthX, an invite-only community of 3,000 members who are product, marketing and business leaders and also founders from India's biggest businesses. See, before we dig into what actually worked for GoZero, let's take a look at how India actually consumes ice creams. And if you do that, you would find one thing very crystal clear, that Indians are mad over ice creams. Be it cones, sticks or tubs, we love them all. And there are reasons for it, right? Summers in India are brutal. And we also have a sweet tooth as a country. The reason why Cadbury's Kuch Meeta Ho Jaye still hits home for all of us. That's why we are also seeing rise of frozen desserts as well, by the way. In fact, if you look at the per capita trends, we are consuming more ice creams than ever. In the last 5 years, our consumption has 2x from 200 ml to 400 ml per person right now. But here's the shocker, right? In China, the same number is 2 liters, while in US it's 20 freaking liters per person. So if this tells us anything, is that there's a huge runway on the relative scale for India's consumption, as India is only going to spend more on indulgences as the size of the wallet increases each year. And just look at the market, right? It's currently 20,000 crore big and is expected to become 50,000 crore big by 2028 as per multiple reports. And that's the reason why we are seeing so much VC money also flowing into this market, and also many new age brands coming up like Hoko, Getaway, Noto, -30 and so many more. Now coming down to Kiran Shah, the founder of GoZero. See, Kiran is someone who has seen this industry evolve firsthand way before GoZero started. In fact, if you've ever heard of the brand Apsara Ice Creams, it is his family company that started in 1971, which he helped scale to 100 plus stores after doing his IM and a job at P&G. But Kiran realized one thing, that he wanted to do something away from his family business. He wanted to do something at the intersection of two big trends. One was the rising aspiration in the Indian consumer market, and second was the rising food consciousness in the Indian market. So with that in mind, let's understand the first insight that GoZero has cracked amazingly, which is choosing the right channel. See, GoZero went super bullish on quick commerce, so much so that 70% of the revenue comes from quick commerce and 30% comes from Swiggy and Zomato. A smart online-only way to penetrate into 16 cities quickly by staying asset light with no heavy capital expenditure. In fact, the reason why this works so well is because all inventory is stored in the dark stores of quick commerce companies and they don't need to take the burden of doing that. So it's pretty smart, honestly. They understood the core intention of the Indian consumer, instant sugar craving. And just imagine, right? You're craving an ice cream in the evening, so what would you do? You would any day prefer opening Blinkit or Zepto instead of opening Swiggy or Zomato, where you would get the delivery in 30 minutes. And this is pretty similar in other indulgence as well, like snacks, juices, etc. But GoZero did two things very different here. One is launching Zepto co-branded products on Zepto, and second is making new products on the basis of white spaces that existed on the quick commerce apps. And we'll discuss both of these. But before we get into that, let's understand some basics of how any business can take a call on the channel decision. Well, there's a proper 5 indicator framework to judge if a channel is perfect for your brand or not. First indicator out of the 5 indicator framework is effort, the difficulty of actually setting up and maintaining a channel. The second is customer acquisition cost. Basically, how much cost you are paying to acquire per customer, and this can be calculated with this formula. Third is flexibility. How easily can you actually move away from the channel if it does not work out? The fourth is lead time. This basically shows the time taken to show the results by a particular channel. For example, SEO usually has a higher lead time because it takes time for SEO to show results for your business. And the fifth is scale, basically the total maximum ceiling a particular channel has. For example, Google Ads, as we all know, has a huge scale. So now what you need to do is that you need to rate these channels in 2 ratings, high or low. So a channel where you have 3 of the parameters as low rating, that's definitely not the channel that you should be pursuing right now. But a channel that has the highest number of high ratings should be the best channel for your business. By the way, this framework that we just discussed is something that we cover super in depth under the acquisition module in the first weeks of our 4-week growth program. A program where you get to learn the entire A to Z of growth. We cover everything from how to acquire customers, how to onboard customers, how to retain customers, and last but not the least, how to monetize them. This learning does not happen alone. It happens with other peers who are leaders, operators, and even founder or some of the top companies of India. And this program is taught by program directors who have built and led growth teams at companies like Crore, Dunzo, and Razorpay. And not just that, you'll also get to learn from CMOs, CTOs, CBOs of India's top startups on weekly freaking basis. The program starts on December 1st and we only accept 50 members every week. So if you want to increase your chances of getting in, then do apply fast. The link to check out the program is in the description. Coming back to GoZero. See, after smartly selecting the quick commerce as a channel, GoZero did two things very uniquely. The first one was launching co-branded exclusive ice cream with Zepto. Mind you, this means that this ice cream that you see here cannot be sold anywhere except Zepto. They advertise this on ads, on social media, but obviously, most importantly, on the app as well, which is opened by roughly 1 crore people daily. A great obvious incentive alignment for Zepto as well to push the product more to its users. And also, most importantly, a great way to borrow the trust of Zepto's customers. Now, the next smart thing GoZero did was launching a new product on the basis of something that was not already available on the quick commerce apps. This is pretty interesting, by the way, because they launched a new SKU after having a meeting with Blinkit's team. This product was Duet, and it was nothing but the old school mango vanilla kind ice cream that we all used to have in childhood. And this SKU was something that was not available on any quick commerce app. And now this product alone makes more than 75 lakhs in monthly revenues for GoZero. And this is amazing because it emphasizes on the art of reverse engineering your product development depending on the white space that exists in the market. So instead of creating a new SKU that you want to create, you can first identify the lack or absence of any SKU in the particular channel that people really love, and then go ahead and create that SKU for customers. But that's not all what they've cracked, right? They have cracked something super unique, which is their moat of having a health-first positioning, which means that GoZero can not only be an ice cream brand, but a health brand in future that makes ice creams. But why would they do that? Well, because India's health consciousness has seen a drastic shift. The reason why India's healthy food market is growing at the world's fastest rate of 20%, and in fact, this market is expected to reach a $30 billion mark by 2025. And this healthy trend is pretty much all around us, right? Almost all of our friends are going to gyms, cults, or at least one of our friends have started reading calories and labels. But we have a long way to go. If you still doubt what I'm saying, just look at the growth of all these companies in different categories. In protein bars, you would see Yoga Bar and Whole Truth coming up. In snacks, you have companies like Farmlay, Max Protein. And in ice creams, you have companies like Getaway, -30, GoZero, and many more coming up. And while that happens, GoZero can actually have an unfair advantage by establishing trust with its customers. Because once that trust has been established for one product, they can easily enter new categories, which is a playbook that Whole Truth has done pretty well. They started with protein bars, they have now entered whey protein and are even selling chocolates. By the way, we even have a video on Whole Truth, so go ahead and check that out. And here's what Kiran thinks about the future of GoZero.
Zero has a lot of playing. It could become a category or creator. It could have everything under desserts. It could have western desserts. It could have mithai. It could have everything. I start with ice cream because that's what I've been doing for 8 years, right? And at least एक category में अगर एक grip बना गया, then there is unimaginable possibilities which can do with Zero.
See, this strategy is going to do two things in future for them. One is going to increase the lifetime value of the same consumer, which is basically the revenue you get from a particular user in his or her entire lifetime. And second, it's going to open door to acquire many new customers who got ignored earlier. For example, let's say GoZero launches a peanut butter after 2 years. If they do that, they would be able to acquire many new customers who they were not able to cater to earlier on. It'll be very interesting to see how this turns out for GoZero in the future as they first dominate the ice cream market. The next insight that they have nailed is pricing. See, pricing becomes super important because it actually determines where you're going to play in a particular market and how massy or niche you're going to be. And last but not the least, which brands are you actually going to compete with? And just look at this pricing pyramid, right? you will see that there are different brands cracking different price points. There are brands below 50 rupees price point, brands between 50 to 100 rupees price point, and brands that are selling above 100 rupees too. And GoZero has smartly entered the middle of the pyramid for one simple reason. It's a sweet spot at which the customer is able to place slightly over the usual Amuls and mother dairies without the extreme guilt and overthinking. Now, while this is a great move, they have so far stayed limited to mostly tier 1 cities, as obviously the customers of tier 1 cities are more willing to explore new brands, different flavors, and more SKUs. But with this price point, they can even win the tier 2 and tier 3 market in future once quick commerce apps expand there too. By the way, they have also expanded their SKUs very smartly and right now are very limited when you talk about SKUs. Like they have 2 or 3 SKUs only in the vegan and protein ranges, which makes sense as they're still extremely small categories if you look holistically. So it'll be very interesting to see how things go on from here. So these were the 3 core insights that have helped GoZero become a startup that makes roughly 50 crores in annual revenue in just 2 years. If you like this video, you would definitely love the last video we did on Aethro versus Ola. Go ahead and check that out. Also, don't forget to check out the link in the description for the 4-week growth program by GrowthX. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.